campus.
So speaking of free speech and civility, President Trump invited Bill Maher to the White House.
Not exactly. Not exactly. Wasn't it that Bob
Kid Rock brought them together?
Kid Rock did. But still, I mean, you know, Trump is if he's always a gracious host.
Yes.
And he always is so nice to everybody. That's kind of his signature, is being nice to everybody.
Yeah.
And so he invited Bill Maher to the White House. Bill Maher, of course, agreed to go because he's probably never turned down an invitation to anything.
I mean, to be fair, would you turn down an invitation to the White House if you were a comedian?
No,
I wouldn't. I would go every time, no matter who the president was.
Something tells me Bill Maher probably put his buddy Kid Rock up
I think
to
there's
this.
probably a good chance of that. That's a good point.
I don't think so. I think
You think it was totally Kid Rock driven?
Completely. So one of my favorite moments of Kid Rock on a Bill Maher show was Bill Maher is interviewing Kid Rock, and Bill Maher says, "Well, you like Trump," and Kid Rock says, "That is not true. I do not like Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump." And so they had been having this discussion. He's like, "You don't get it. You don't understand how nice he is." And he's like, "You should meet him. You should meet him." And then he says, "Okay, fine." And he calls Donald Trump, and he gets invited.
And this is Bill Maher after the meeting.
First good sign, before I left for the Capitol, I had my staff collect and print out this list of almost 60 different insulting epithets that the president has said about me. Things like stupid, dummy, lowlife dummy, sleazebag, sick, sad, stone cold crazy. Really a dumb guy, fired like a dog, his show is dead. There's 60. I brought this to the White House because I wanted him to sign it, which he did. Which he did with good humor. And I know as I say that, millions of liberal sphincters just tightened.
So, you know, I'm like 99% of Americans have never watched this show on HBO, but I bet that is the first genuine horse laughs that audience has ever delivered.
Yeah.
I like Bill Maher's show, but this is the Trump that we have all seen. He actually has a great sense of humor, and that's the thing that I think late-night television has missed in destroying itself. Congratulations, Greg Gutfeld. The reason you have the huge audience you have is because you're funny. And these guys have become, in many ways, political activists with late-night humor. But, man, if they had leaned into Trump in a funny way, he will play it up. He actually has a great sense of humor. And I give credit to Bill Maher, whoever had the idea to print out all the insults. But that is Trump just signing it. And here's the other thing, guys. If Trump could have presented Bill Maher with all the insults that Bill Maher has made about him, and he gets over it. He doesn't hold grudges, which I think is probably the most unique thing about Trump. I mean, heck, his vice president said that he had Hitler tendencies, and now he's a heartbeat away, right? I mean, he's willing to forgive. Most politicians aren't.
He actually said once, if I didn't forgive people, I'd have like no friends, or something to that effect. You know, you're right about that.
Yeah.
The left has missed an opportunity in late night TV, but politicians on the left and even some on the right are missing the opportunity to learn. This is how politics is done. Be real. I mean, that's one of the things that Bill Maher talked about a lot in his sort of post recap of this meeting was the guy is very real. He said, I've been around Democrats. I agree with them in politics, and they are much harder to talk to. They look away. They're not really interested in what I have to say. I felt like Donald Trump was a real person. I could disagree with him. I could look him in the eye. We could have a real discussion. Here's another bit of Bill Maher sharing his experience from meeting Donald Trump at the White House.
When I got there, that guy wasn't living there. Now, does Trump want respect? Of course. Who doesn't? My friend said to me, what are you going to wear to the White House? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to dress like Zelensky, I'll tell you that. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. I never felt I had to walk on eggshells around him. And honestly, I voted for Clinton and Obama, but I would never feel comfortable talking to them the way I was able to talk with Donald Trump. That's just how it went down. Make of it what you will. Me, I feel it's emblematic of why the Democrats are so unpopular these days.
It is. And it's also emblematic of the kind of deals he's making right now.
Yeah.
He gets on the phone with people. He knows how to connect. His, social intelligence, to me, is off the charts.
I think that's true, Rachel. And also, authenticity destroys cancel culture. People have gotten used to who Trump is. And I think what Bill Maher saw is what the American public as a whole has come to see. You don't have to agree with the guy on everything, but he's not pretending to be something that he isn't. And that's what stood out to me. A lot of politicians, Obama, Hillary Clinton, actually pretend to be something they aren't. Remember, why did Bill Clinton get away with having an affair with an intern in the Oval Office? Because deep down, people were like, I can kind of see him doing that.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not a good authenticity, but he was representative of what people thought. And
That's a good point.
I love this because it's destroying cancel culture.
And Trump listens because he is interested in people.
That's right.
Which is a huge difference.
Very true.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.